Hello, and welcome to People's Memorial Association. My name is Casey Husseman, and I'm the Executive Director of People's Memorial Association and the Co-op Funeral Home. I'm here today to say welcome and to tell you a little bit more about People's Memorial Association and what it means to be a member. I'll go over some of the benefits that you can expect, as well as what's going to be coming in that new member packet that you'll be receiving in the mail shortly. I'll also talk about some responsibilities and considerations that you should have as a PMA member and answer some questions about financial planning and what it means to prepay. I'll also leave you with our contact information for as a PMA member, you have us for all of your questions and planning help, and we'll be here to help you in your time of need. People's Memorial Association was founded in 1939. That makes us 85 years old in 2024. We are the oldest and largest memorial society in the United States. We've been a nonprofit since the beginning, providing consumers with funeral education and advocacy. We helped found the federal watchdog organization, the Funeral Consumer Alliance, and we're partnered to over 60 sister organizations all around the United States. So whether you passed away in Washington or somewhere else, People's Memorial Association is here to connect you with local affiliates that can connect you with resources and make sure that they are an ethical actor in our space. To date, over 220,000 Washingtonians have been members of People's Memorial Association. Today, about 71,000 people are living members of People's Memorial Association. As you can imagine, that keeps us pretty busy. The vision of People's Memorial Association is a future where everyone has access to after-death arrangements that reflect their personal values and resources. And about values, our values are respect, compassion, innovation, cooperation, advocacy, sustainability, and ethics. We expect that of all of our partners and everyone that we deal with in our industry. They stand the test of time up till now. So what do we do? Well, education is at the core of a lot of People's Memorial Association's work. We offer classes to teach people about end-of-life planning or their options. A lot of these classes, including our flagship Ducks in a Row series, are online, and we make some of them available for free so that you can go and watch them right now. And we have many more available behind a paywall, so members can receive a discounted rate if you want to find even more classes or previous talks or learn about other death careers from our Death Careers Week series or our green funeral options in our Green Funerals Week class. We also do a lot of advocacy work. That means fighting to increase the choices for people in this industry. You might have heard that in 2020 in Washington State, we helped advocate to make 2 new disposition methods legal. That's alkaline hydrolysis and the natural organic reduction, which I'll talk a little bit more about in a bit. We've also been fighting to increase price transparency. Can you believe that it used to be the case that funeral homes didn't need to share their prices at all? Today, they've been mandated to share their prices in the office, but still not online, which is work that we're fighting to continue today. And of course, we're trying to protect cultural rights to make sure that anyone's expressions, religious, spiritual, or otherwise, are acceptable under the law in the state of Washington. And on the price side, we want to make sure that those services are affordable, including cremation, burial, aquamation, and natural organic reduction. All right, what do you get as a member of People's Memorial Association? Well, information and educational resources, of course. You've got access to our classes online, and we might be coming to your community near you. Check out our events to see if there are any events coming up that you might want to attend. Some of these are in person, and many of them are also live streamed virtually. We will send you planning documents. I'll talk a little bit more about those in particular, but these are so you can write down what your end-of-life wishes are and then store them with your important end-of-life papers, like your will. Now, you don't need to send your documents back to us. If you have them somewhere where your next of kin and family can find them, then that is enough. But we do also offer a digital document storage plan in case you want People's Memorial Association to store your documents for you. That way, your family just needs to know one place to call in order to get access to all of your documents. We also have negotiated group rates at a network of contracted funeral homes and other providers, including urn makers and cemeteries and even a pet crematory. This means that you can expect about a 15% discount at all of these places, though it does depend a little bit on which provider. We also have negotiated, as part of our contracts, a code of conduct. That means that PMA members should be free from any sales pressure at any of our contracted providers, so that you should be treated with dignity and respect during these negotiations, and especially in the stressful times. If you ever are concerned that People's Memorial Association or any of the providers that we recommend you to are not giving you a fair or respectful treatment, then we want you to let us know. We take that very seriously, and we have severed contract with people in the past based on their performance with our members. We also send satisfaction surveys to people that are served at any of our contracted funeral homes, so that we will give you an opportunity to let us know how we did and how they did. All right, let's talk about what's in that new member packet. First of all is our membership card. On the right-hand side here, I've got it shown where we tell you what your PMA member number is. We write down the address that we have on file for you and the all-important when the death occurs phone number, so that when a death needs to be reported, you know who to call to pick up a body. Also on the back of this card, we have our contact information so that you know to reach out to People's Memorial Association anytime, whether that's a question about options or something about storing your membership information. We've got you covered. We'll also send you our ducks in a row checklist. This is a very comprehensive item that can outline every single thing you might possibly want to plan for around your end of life. Not all of them are as essential as others, but this will give you a good ground level view of what you need to do to make sure that you're ready for your end of life. We'll also include our contracted providers price list. That's every funeral home that we have a contract with, as well as their contact phone number and the prices for various different services that you might be considering for them. It's good to know which provider is in your area and their contact information, so you can write that down on your forms and make that readily available for your next of kin. We'll also send you some information on green burial and what that is. There's a lot of interesting things that have been done to make sure that burial practices are more and more environmentally friendly. So give that a read if burial is something that you're considering. And like I mentioned, we do offer digital document storage in case you'd like to send your documents to People's Memorial Association for us to keep. That way your next of kin can reach out to us and contact us so that we can send along any documents that you've sent us. And that can be any of the documents that we've provided, your will, photographs, instructions on services that you like, really anything. If that's something that interests you, check out our website. We make that available for $25 for members, and we'll keep your documents for life. All right, let's talk about the real important forms. The disposition authorization is the form where you'll find anything that concerns how you want to be treated after you've passed. At the top here, you'll see we have the different disposition methods outlined. That's alkaline hydrolysis, sometimes known as aquamation or a water cremation, a burial, cremation, or natural organic reduction, also known as human composting or terramation. And it goes on to list where you'd want a provider to be done and a lot more specifics around the ceremonies and where to find important documents. If you complete this document, you'll have done about 60% of the planning that you really need to have your end-of-life affairs in order. And while this document does allow you to get very specific, if it's not long enough or specific enough for your tastes, you can add documents to it. I've seen people write an appendix where they outline more information about the ceremonies that they want completed, including religious rites that they want honored. If you want to extend or add something about how you want to be treated, consider adding it to this form. Registered agent form. So there is a hierarchy of who gets contacted and who's responsible for affairs in the case of a death. This is often the spouse or parents or the children. But if you want to circumvent this process and make sure that you know exactly who's going to be in charge of your affairs, you can designate them with this form. This allows you to pick anyone, whether it's a cousin, someone that you're not married to, maybe a guardian or a social worker that's very close to you. And that person will get the final say on your end-of-life affairs. Yes, they may also get footed with the bill, but you can name them on any end-of-life life insurance policies or trusts that you've set up to make sure that they are compensated if that's the case. This is a very helpful way to make sure that Whoever you want to be in charge of your end of life affairs can be in charge of your end of life affairs, and it doesn't just fall on a spouse or family members that may or may not know what your wishes are. And of course, we will send you a remittance envelope. People's Memorial Association is a nonprofit, and over 50% of our revenue comes from individual donations from members like you. If you have a spare dollar sitting around, please do consider supporting us and keeping our lights on, keeping our staff paid, and allowing us to send all this mail to all of our members across the state of Washington. Now, what should you be thinking about as a new member? Well, of course, educating yourself is very important. We've got information available on our website, as well as some classes that you might want to attend. So go and find out what your options are before you make any important decisions. You want to choose and authorize what your arrangements will be. This is usually completing your disposition authorization form and maybe reaching out to a local funeral home to make sure that you know who would be the provider in your area. We also recommend that you inform your survivors. This means tell your family, tell your loved ones, what are your wishes? What do you want done after you've passed? And an all-important question, are there any funds to take care of this? There's a couple different forms of funds that we'll talk about in a little bit, but where those funds are and how much is a very important conversation to have with your next of kin. You can keep People's Memorial up to date with any of your information. If you change your address, please do reach out to us to make sure that we can mail you again in the future. And of course, please consider supporting our work by promoting People's Memorial Association to your loved ones, to friends and family, to maybe your community at your assisted living or retirement home. If you want People's Memorial to come give an educational talk at wherever you are, please do let us know, as we are always looking for new venues and communities to reach out to for our educational classes. Should I prepay? This is probably the most common question that we get at People's Memorial Association. And to that, I have to say, it depends. Now, on the side against, there is no law that means that if you pay for a plan at a funeral home now, they must honor that same price once your time has passed. The prices for services does increase with time, whether that's inflation or otherwise. And so the funeral homes are not beholden to a price that they listed 40, 60 years ago. So you do need to reach out to your individual funeral home if you're considering prepayment and really do check if they're going to be honoring those prices. And some do that. In the case of our partner Recompose, you can pay for their Recompose plan, and that does lock in their price whenever your time of death does occur. Now, there might be some increases in the price for the prepayment plan that make that a more economical and affordable option for the funeral homes to provide. So it really does depend on the service provider we're talking about. So you do need to read their fine print very carefully before you decide to prepay. And how do you prepay for things? Well, you can go through the funeral home, which is our typical prepayment plan, or you can consider one of these options: a funeral trust account, a pay on death account, or a life insurance policy. These are set up usually with your bank, although occasionally with another insurance provider, and they can have a system of who gets paid out when a death occurs for you. Now, this is very good for handling the cost of affairs. It's very good for the party or ceremony plannings that may be attached with your end of life, or like I mentioned, paying for your friend that is taking care of your affairs, as that is a stressful task to be doing and putting on someone. You can set some different contingencies of who should be receiving the money, as well as attach some of your wishes to these different plans, but it definitely depends. So reach out to your bank or insurance provider to find out more details of ways you can finance in advance. And where do you get more information? Well, at our website, of course, peoplesmemorial.org has our collection of educational classes, our list of funeral home providers in the area, price documents, including our surveys that we run on every funeral home in Washington State every 2 years. Any information, we probably have it on our website. So go and check that out first. We are on Facebook at People's Memorial, as well as Instagram at People's Memorial WA, and we are on TikTok at People's Memorial. Don't worry, our content is educational, not dances, so consider giving us a follow there if you want to stay informed, or share out our contact information with other friends that maybe haven't considered being a People's Memorial Association member yet. And lastly, I'll leave you with some encouragement to think about what it is that you want done after you've passed. Talk about your your end of life wishes with your loved ones, family, next of kin, and put it down in writing, maybe today. You can find all of our forms available on our website right now to download for free. Or if you just signed up, wait those 2 weeks and we'll make sure that you get that new member packet arriving in your mail. And with all of that taken care of, you can finally rest in peace. Again, my name is Casey Husseman. Thank you so much for joining People's Memorial Association. Please do reach out to us by phone at 206-325-0489 or at info@peoplesmemorial.org to send us an email with any questions that you might have. We'd love to stay in touch and answer any questions that you have. And again, thank you so much for taking your death into your own hands and being an educated advocate for your own end-of-life wishes and those of your neighbors here in Washington State. Thank you and take care.